Okay, go ahead. You were saying on breakout rooms, Imre.
Yeah, I was saying that, as the conversations develop and near near uh, some solution, or hopes of a solution or whatever, they'll move up. They'll move up in the breakout rooms. Like, let's say 1 to 15, or as many as there's going to be, and they can just gradually be shifted. So you can judge where they are in priority, and move it ahead.
Yeah, you can have breakout rooms, but then also just whole separate Zoom meetings with whole separate Zoom IDs and everything on separate topics. So there's a certain, just like, you're a stained glass artist. And so there's a certain, balance between, do I do small pieces connected with lead in between, or do I do big pieces? There's a balance. And likewise, I think there's going to be a balance between, do we have, a big topic with a lot of breakout rooms, or do we have a lot of little topics, right?
Yeah. Well, it's very tempting, though, to stay in the main room, right? Because you don't want to miss anything either, But I mean, you can flow back and forth, but that in itself could be possibly a disrupting thing. I'm not 100% sure about that, but as people come back in, they're kind of disconnected from the flow, and you get caught up. But it is what it is. If there's a breakout room, you go there and you have your conversation, and people interested in that conversation will follow. That leaves less resources in the main room, obviously, but I guess it's going to happen the way it needs to. You can't really predict 100% how it's going to tailor itself out. But we start with a step, towards that, and to build upon it as you progress with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that's important to note is, in my view of this, how this is all evolving, is that everyone is really the master of their own ship, and as such, they choose what port to dock in, being another analogy for the conversation, right, or metaphor for which, which flower, which conversation. And so, just imagine there's 100 people in the main room, and we're all kind of kicking it around, and it emerges that the very next step is to do, step A, right? Mm-hmm. Naturally, there will be those who will say, you know what, I want to go do step A right now. Let's do a breakout room to do step A. Meanwhile, in the main room, they get to work on steps B, C, D, E, et cetera, First defining step B, right? And then likewise, there'll be a group that'll say, okay, now we want to go do step B, and they'll do a breakout room, right? Something like that. So this I think is part of this sort of fundamental kind of solution building architecture, right? Where so much of the work is about the chunking it out into steps, starting with the very first immediate first step, right? And one of the cool things about having this live in a conversation, and that each of these topics has a center and a conversation at that center, is that in that conversation, if there is any hesitation, any doubt as to what the very next step is, guess what? You get to resolve that right now, immediately, right here, right now, in this conversation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's such a simple statement. It almost defies. It's like, well, why? Well, duh, that's stating the obvious, right? But you know, anyway, it's not quite that obvious. It's just pretty clear. It's pretty simple. Yeah.
It's resolved. It's resolved between the participants of the conversation, but not necessarily reaching back home. You know, where everybody else is working on something else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Dividing possibly the one person who would have contributed at the correct moment to something else in a previous conversation, right? You broke out to go somewhere else. And meanwhile, there's a vacuum there at that moment, you know? But like I say, it all kind of has to be, you feel it out and you go with the flow of it, you know? You can always come back and revisit points that are made, or you know, realizations that are attained during the interactions that go on all the time, you know. And it's very varied. The interactions vary a lot. You know, people tune in, people tune out. It's like you don't really realize where everybody's at precisely enough to
Yeah.
say one way or another.
But you know, that's why it's so important that there be, you know, a continuity of the transcript and then a condensation of that into a really tight summary.
Yeah, that's important for sure.
It looks like Kushbu is joining us. Kushbu! Kushbu!
Hi, I thought this is the last hour.
Well, here's the thing. We just crossed the 24-hour mark 12 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm 12 minutes late.
No, you're perfect. We're still recording. So this is still officially part of it. And
okay.
it will be part of the historical record. You see, one day when archaeologists from the future dig this up, dig up the hard drive, and they'll watch this video, and they'll say, aha. They'll watch this whole series, the Block Party series. They'll be like, aha, this was humanity when they finally turned the corner and went from death spiral to utopia, a new pathway. So anyway, oh my goodness, we're now at over 300 hours of Block Party accumulated.
You have a plan to edit it sometime?
No current plan, but you know, the good thing is it's all archived, it's all backed up both on hard drive and YouTube. So it's all, you know, it's all there. That's the important thing. Right?
Okay.
And, you know, what and when and how and who and why and all that can be sorted out as well.
Yeah, sure.
but you know, since it's all up on YouTube, it's all accessible. So Emery, you know, he'll download segments or capture segments and do mashups and whatnot. So you know, it's all there for anyone to play with. But yeah, we've been talking about some pretty cool topics around the kind of about the fundamental architecture of the solution engine and how that relates to the conversational domain and the taxonomy, the map of topics, how all those interrelate with each other in a very tight architecture. Anyway, I am getting really tired. I was almost falling asleep here. And
yeah, it's a nice day over there.
Yeah.
It's a morning?
It's morning. And I got the sun here. That's why I got the sunglasses on. And the crows would like for me to feed them. Do you want to watch me feed the crows?
Sure.
Let's do it. We're still recording. Yeah, we're still recording. So this can be a part of it. All right. Let me get this worked out.
This is your daily routine?
Yep. And I talk to the crows. This is how I say, this is sort of like a love call to the crows. Right?
Yeah, sure.
Where I say, cluck, cluck. Let me just do a little tweaking here. See, they want their breakfast. Cluck.
Sure. I don't want to come in between.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Here, and I normally sing to them in the morning, so you're getting like the real deal, full treatment. All right, I'm going to get them their food and water, and then I'll be out in a minute or two.
Imre, it looks like you're talking, but I can't hear you.
Well, I'm the last, one of the last survivors there of that party, you know. But by this time, I'm normally sipping on a coffee after waking up, you know. So,
All right. It's been a long day for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been quite long, but very interesting, and I think we're
What's your feeling about it?
Pardon?
What's your feeling about it?
Well, my feeling is always leans more to the positive side of things, you know. So positive. And I see progress, you know, every time, every week, you know, there's progress. I mean, the more and more people participate and try to help with what we're trying to achieve, the better it's going to be, and we'll get there step by step.
Yeah. we cannot haste this process. We cannot go hasty in this process. That is very sure.
Well, you know, we're together, so you know, we're able to collectively find the best way.
Yeah, that's the way ahead.
Or Miss Jamin's feeding the crows.
I had to give them their space. That's very important.
I wonder if he's gonna sing.
I think he did.
Did he? I missed it. So you see, I guess you see things moving ahead well also.
Say that again, please.
I see, I guess you also see the progress that's being made.
Honestly, I don't know actually. I was curious about it, in fact.
Well, I think this is your third party, or no? Is it the third?
Second.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're still in the process, you know, of you know, meeting everybody, getting to know everybody, right? So you know, as time goes, you're gonna hear more and more from people, and you know, your connection with people, your connection will be stronger, and understand each other a little more, what our moods are, you know, and how we interact with one another. So, you know, it's important enough to, you know, keep in mind that we all have, everybody brings something unique to the party, you know. With the stone soup that we're making, you know, somebody has the carrots, somebody has the, you know, radishes, somebody's got, you know, different ingredients to bring in. We're tasting the soup as we go along, as we go on.
I agree. Well, it's still like, you know, it's still in the making.
That's right. Once in a while, we need to give a little stir here and there.
Exactly.
Add a few things. Oh, Jamin.
Yo. What do you say?
Stone soup. It's getting there.
It's getting there. It's so exciting. What could be more exciting?
Yeah.
Let me find my sunglasses.
Didn't hear from Steve this week. Steven?
Okay. All right. Crows have been fed. I don't think they've seen me with these sunglasses before, so I think it kind of spooks them out a little bit. But anyway, we'll figure it out. But anyway, they've been fed. We're still recording.
Wrapping it up,
Huh?
wrapping it up slowly.
Yep. So anyway, really excited. Yeah, we got so much good stuff going on. And so if you want to watch some of the recordings, it'll be up in the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 days or so, up on the radish.org.
Yeah.
And
Well, that in itself, it's quite an upkeep. They take quite a while to render, I find these days. Not like before. You know, they went pretty fast. I don't know, with the technology, they should be getting quicker and quicker to render, right? It seems like,
oh yeah, no, it renders super fast. It's just that
yeah.
it's more that Jamen is a little bit slow on weekends. After a 24-hour block party, I kind of, take it easy, and it's like, all right, I'll upload those videos when I get to it, kind of thing, right? And sometimes that's Sunday night. That's just sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. But anyway, because after 24 hours, can you imagine where you're facilitating for 19 of those 24 hours? Oh, you're on mute, Kushbu. I'm going to unmute you, Kushbu. Oh, you do. I'll let you do it.
That's what is that is what is fascinating for me, that how are you making this possible? Like, I understand I can make sense of, people coming together, and like a lot of people coming together for 24 hours and discussing it out and talking the current issues and all those things. But facilitating this, it's a new kind of a ball game.
Well, isn't it? And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Think about it this way, right? Like, let's say that like some asteroid was coming towards Earth, right? And it was going to impact Earth in 72 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say literally 72 hours from now. Right now it's Saturday morning for us, Saturday evening for you, but it's Saturday, okay? In 72 hours, the asteroid's going to hit. Do you think, Kushbu, that you and I and Emery in Montreal, Canada, here we are, 3 people in 3 different countries, we're going to say, you know what? Let's take the weekend off and let's get together on Monday. And then on Monday, we'll say, all right, what do we do about this asteroid? No. People would be like going round the clock and just figuring this and that. And we'd be talking with the Koreans to see if we could take their missiles and combine them with China's missiles and Russia's hypersonic missiles and blow this thing up, right? But we'd be applying our collective intelligence. We'd be doing this Zoom video conferencing, 24 hours a day, right? And it's with that kind of urgency that we created the block party to say, you know what, whatever else happens during the week, the weekend, Friday is sacred. Come here on Friday and hang out. Let's hang out together and let's figure this out together. Because you know what? There's no government that's figuring it out. There's no United Nations that's figuring it out. There's no church that's figuring it out. There's no.
Everybody think that they are figuring it out on like their own way with the old methods. But when the dragon is in front of you, when the crisis arises, we have to drop those things, which we are not doing right now collectively. You get what I mean?
Of course, that's exactly why we created the Block Party. The Collective Intelligence Block Party was to bring us all together, right? So we can begin to work together as one planet, one world.
What's the way to market this better? Since the party is over and we can retrospectively do something about it for the next one.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Rather than think about next one, what we're doing is we're doing a holistic, systemic transformational change, and that is this. We're putting the focus increasingly on feeding everyone in Brooklyn, New York, which has like 2.6 million people or something like that. So it's this substantial chunk of New York City, which is the hardest hit place in the United States by far, right? Something like over a third of all cases in the whole country has been in that one city. And as you know, it's a very big country, right? So it's just crazy. So by doing this project, we're putting a focus on it that's going to draw in a lot of people from Brooklyn, from New York City generally, from the vegan community, right? From the social justice community, from the Irish community, and many other communities. And you know what, Kushbu? If you would like to lead a community from India and invite them to come and participate with us in these kind of meetings, right? Because here's the thing, the point is that we bring together people and knowledge, right? Including knowledge of nutrition and cooking and meals and all kinds of good stuff. If we bring together people from all around the world and we really form a true planetary collective intelligence, we can use that collective intelligence to feed everyone. Yeah. Everything from farming to preparation of food and cooking and menus and all that, recipes and all that, all the way to delivery and medical, healthcare, all kinds of different facets of diet, supplements, whatever. So we look at it holistically, including the agricultural networks. And we bring together people from all over the world to work on it holistically. And that's it in a nutshell. And so that by doing that and organizing it in particular ways that we've discussed over the last 24 hours, right, we will attract lots and lots of people to come and join and participate. They will come because they want to participate in this project to feed everyone, starting with Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So come for that, but they'll end up being part of the collective intelligence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So today only where I stay, that place has like the spiking hike in the number of positive patient found. So I'm going to be more restricted than normal. Yeah. I'm not worried about it, but I don't know. That is a selfish thing to say, I feel.
It's hard to hear. I don't like to hear that.
Well, I said there is. I'm not worried about it, honestly speaking, personally, but it's a selfish thing to say. And yeah, I am more focused on like what I see is that you guys are focused on sustainability, which is necessary. If we don't survive this if there is no sustainability. But well, before that, I see the one more step for me here is the crisis management.
Well, that's largely what we're taking on here is a form of crisis management, because we're basically saying, look, in the face of this crisis, how do we organize ourselves into a collective intelligence and into specific projects? You know, the two big boots on the ground projects that we're going to be doing, planetary, and they're both planetary scale, is one, feed everyone, and number two, cool the planet with solar radiation management. That's the boots on the ground, getting stuff done. The brain for the whole thing, the planetary brain, is collective superintelligence. And where it all starts, the focal point that we're creating right now at this next stage of evolution is Brooklyn, New York. Feed everyone in Brooklyn, New York. Assuming the mayor gets on board with us, which we think the odds are very, very good that he will. He's vegan. He's vegan. He's African American.
Do you guys have some sort of database right now?
We don't really have a database, no, huh?
In India, we have started making the database where, like, for now, food supply is necessary. So I'll try to fetch the document and share it over. So just for you guys to take a look.
Sure. Gotcha. But anyway, cool. Regardless of what the demand is, whether it's 15 million people in one city who need the food or 150 people, right? Regardless of the scale, we will meet the need, right? And in the process, we will redesign and reconfigure food networks generally. From farms, small local farms, to big farms, to permaculture done at a person's home, to backyard gardens, rooftop gardens, community permaculture, everything from fruit trees to vines growing on the sides of buildings. Everything is possible, all the above. But we're just giving a particular focus that will, and under the banner of, Brooklyn Eats for Brooklyn and Operation Stone Soup, more generally for the worldwide platform and program of feeding everyone, right? And then tying it all together is the social network of awesome communities, right? Or snack bar. And that is where all these different communities from all around the world will come together in a network of conversations. And that's the starting point for collective superintelligence. Here, let me say hi to
Amen to that, man. Amen to that.
Thank you. Anyway, so be sure to watch the recordings. I better get some sleep. I'm tired.
Yeah. I should start making my dinner. There are 8 dogs to feed.
All right. Great.
Nice to see you, Kushbu.
Great to see you, Kushbu. Emery, brother, thank you so much. Emery's been at it for over 24 hours now.
That's you are a historic person, man. You are a historic person. Just know that.
Exactly. Seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All
Much
right.
love, guys. Much love. And
Love
we'll
to you
speak.
both. Love to all. Thank you all for participating, for watching, for being a part of it, and for moving this forward. So exciting. We'll see you.
Bye-bye, people.
We'll see you on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time for the Solution Club. That's also up on the homepage of Radish. So we
Sure,
meet.
sure. I'll follow up.
Okay, wonderful.
All
Love
right.
you all.
Peace.
Thanks so much.
Peace.
Peace and love. Thanks, everyone.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Yeah. See
See you then.
you soon.